Okay, we're going to kind of put to the test what we've learned in the last week regarding FIFO, LIFO average, calculating them and analyzing them. You'll probably want that cheat sheet, handy. I apologize about the poor quality of this. This was back in the day when I'd just take pictures of the book. But it's easy because then you can write on it and make notes. Lisa Company had 100 units in the beginning inventory. That cost 10 grand. They purchased 200 more, costing 26. And at the end of the year, they had a shush of 80 units. They're asking you to complete FIFO, LIFO average for A. B, they're asking some analytical questions. C and D, they're asking some analytical questions. So what it will look like is, like you'll answer A, B, C, D here on this page. But because A, that's not nearly enough space to do everything, I've given you that second sheet where you can roll through and do the work, basically. I do have a setup for you. Let me get one of these. But I'll help you with it because you've not had just a blank slate before. All right. I think this is a good trick to try. Hi. Oh, yeah. Plus my signature will be worth a lot of money someday. There you go. So what's the date of our beginning inventory? Is there a date? Or did they just say beginning of the month? So they didn't give you a date? Okay. But in the beginning, the activity was, I just thought they'd had a date, like September 1st or whatever. But beginning inventory, how many did they have their numbers of stuff? Okay. Did they even tell you the unit cost? But they gave you the total cost. So what would the unit cost have been? Why did I tell you that? Because for FIFO and LIFO, it would matter. Okay. If it would help to do some, if it would help to do something like that, just to see where the numbers were. Okay, then did we buy anything? We did. We had a purchase. How many did we buy? 200. Did it give you the total cost of that? So total cost was 26,000. So that would be how much for a unit cost? 130. Okay. Number 1 on your cheat sheet, you'd have to go search for that. Okay. Number 2 on the cheat sheet, you'd have to calculate that. What did they give you in the little bio? Did they give you the shush or did they give you the S, the sold? Okay. Well, can we tell right now, like what was left? Or how many total we had available? Yes. 300 was available. So you might want to even put an A by that for available. What was our total cost? So cost of goods available. 36,000. Okay. So what we did just now is step 1 and step 2 on our cheat sheet. Okay. Step 3, I can't remember how it reads, but step 3 was like calculate shush and calculate sold, right? Something along those lines. So right here, you either like have one or the other. Sometimes you're given both. What did the little bio say? Did it say shush or S? Okay, so minus S is going to equal shush. And that number was given to us, correct, at 80? So what sold? 220. All right. So we've got a breakdown of the stuff. What you're going to do on the rest of the page is figure out the values. Okay. I'm going to get out of your way, but I'd begin with these labels. Like over on the left is the stuff that's still here, placing a value on the still here. It's going to feel backwards. And then you roll over here to S. Remember, I like to do this. Cost of goods available minus cost of goods shush equals cost of goods sold, because that's the teacher brain in here. If you can calculate all that without even showing your math, awesome. But I think it's going to just be helpful, especially like in May when you're studying for a final and you're like, where does that number come from? Having that little cheat sheet there is going to be a good thing. When you finish FIFO, when you finish LIFO, what are you going to do with average cost? What two numbers are you going to mess with to figure out the average cost per unit? That's what we did just yesterday. You're going to take $36,000 divided by 300 things to equal an average unit cost of $120. I'll just give you that as a checkpoint. Now don't forget, once you have this done, you still have to go back and like answer A, B, C, D. I'm going to pause the recording, but then I'll record when I go through the answers. But I'm just going to give you the numbers. I'm not going to necessarily walk you through it. I just thought this is a really great problem to test your skills on FIFO, LIFO average and to talk about them. So I think I'm going to show you this page first. There's your FIFO. The newest stuff's still here because we're recognizing the values of the oldest stuff for the first in. LIFO would of course be flipped. The oldest stuff is the stuff that's still here, with the newest stuff, more expensive stuff in this case, sold. With FIFO, you never really sell the oldest values because you're constantly adding new in. Average, of course, you first take a peek at your total cost available divided by your total units. So the price inflation doesn't matter. They're just saying, well, at 120 bucks a piece, here's how it looks. There. What can I answer there? What are you guys still wondering? Are you getting pretty good at this stuff? Good. So then I just brought those answers over. I don't know if you did it this way, but you'll see FIFO is the smallest cost of goods sold. LIFO is the largest cost of goods sold because of the rising prices. Average would be a split between them. B is asking which cost flow method, or you see cost flow assumption, valuation. There's a lot of different interchangeable words there, but basically LIFO, FIFO, or average, which would result in the highest net income. FIFO, because we're selling our oldest, in this case cheaper stuff, bringing the cost down, making it look like we've got more money in our pocket, that is. C, which cost flow method would result in inventories approximating current cost in the balance sheet? That is a hard one. Let me read it again. Which cost flow method, so FIFO, LIFO average, would result in inventories approximating the current cost in the balance sheet? FIFO, because of that whole, it's the natural flow of goods. Go back to the Willys strawberries. You're going to sell your old ones before your newer ones, unless you're like me and dig in the back of the produce pile. It reflects the current cost. It's the natural flow. As products come in, we're valuing in those prices. And the last one, which cost flow method would result in Lisa paying the least amount of taxes? LIFO, because we're going to have a higher cost of goods sold, resulting in a lower net income, needing to pay Uncle Sam less money. That right there is the test, you guys. Like, calculating them and being able to talk about them is basically the test. Not to worry, we'll do an A set. We'll do a B set. I'll even give you a C set if you just want to test your skills plus a practice test. By this time next week, you'll be sitting pretty good. I'm going to actually stop this recording so I can have 2 separate recordings, because what I'm about to do is completely different than this. So let me just get this done.